you need to understand what Numpy is and what Numpy does. So let me share my screen. If you can see my screen, can you type yes as well? So let's go to the, while we wait for people that are joining, let's go to the Jupyter Notebook. So today we are going to be creating doing some manipulations in Numpy. And why Numpy is, if you can see my screen, just type yes that you can see the Anaconda screen. You can see the Anaconda screen, just type yes that you can see the, all right, perfect, thank you. So while we wait for our Jupyter Notebook to load, so today we are going to be, majorly it's going to be about creating some random numbers in Numpy, creating some basic array functions, multiplication and division, slicing, mean, median, sum, and the likes. So while we wait for the Jupyter Notebook to load and some people that are still joining to join us as well, ensure that you are joining with your full name. Ensure that you register with your email address and your full name, because that is very, very important. So there you go. So let's open Python. So I said, so Numpy is a Python library that deals with numerical calculations. So Numpy. So it's just a short form for numerical Python. It's just a short form for numerical Python. Numerical Python. It's just a short form for it, numerical Python. So it was gotten from, so that you will not cram it. This is num and this is py. So that is how it was gotten from. So it's an open source library in Python. So we have to import it. So we say import NumPy, and we can use an alias for it as NP. It's not compulsory, but for good coding practice, we can use an alias with it. Now, for some of you that you don't have NumPy installed on your system, it might give you error. But for me, I have it installed on my system already, so it's not going to give me error. So for some of you that you don't have it on your system, you have to say pip install NumPy, and it will install it for you. If you first of all run this code and you are getting error, so you have to say pip install NumPy. So don't forget that we have set an alias for NumPy, which is NP. So we don't need to be typing NumPy again. All we need to be typing is NP. So can we produce, so NP, like I said, it's numerical Python, NumPy, is just used for calculation in Python. And there's no how you will do data analysis that you will not do calculation, because data analysis also forms part of calculation. There's no how you are going to deal with data analysis that you are not going to deal with numbers. Numbers are involved in data analysis. So it's very, very important that you take note of that. So let's try to create some random numbers. Now, let me tell you one of the applications in which NumPy is used. NumPy is used for gaming. When you are playing, one of the applications that they use to develop NumPy, to develop games on your phone that has to do with numbers, where you are playing Ludo on your phone, is NumPy. And I will tell you the reason why. Because you can use it to create random seed, that is random numbers. So let me say np dot random dot seed. So what I'm doing here is to set my seed, to be to set a seed for NumPy for reproducibility. So you can create random numbers with NumPy. And so that is why people that produce game, they make use of NumPy. But we are not producing games now. So they make use of NumPy. So now let's try to create an array, and the array that we want to create, we'll create an array for students. So like I said, NumPy is used for numerical calculations. So you can also use it to create array. And remember that I taught you lists, I taught you dictionary. So let's try to create like a fake data for an array. So how do we go about that? So let's try to create a fake data set. So NumPy can also be used to create fake data sets. So some of you that you're asking me, okay, how did I create some fake data set the other time? You can make use of NumPy. NumPy can be used to create a fake data set. So I want to create 10 student fake data set of 10 students and 5 subjects. So let the 5 subjects be maths, science, English, history, and maybe PE. So how do I go about that? So let's start with students. So students equals to, now if you are using NumPy, it's going to be an array. So that will be np.array. And this is just the syntax. So these are fake names, is a fake data, just like I used to say. So some of you that you're asking me that how did I create some fake data? If you are in other classes, if you are in Excel and the likes, sometimes I make use of NumPy to create some of those fake data. So I have Charlie, David. They are just, I want to create like 10 names. Ella, Frank, Grace, Anna, Ian. I'm just typing some names that come to mind. So this. Do we have up to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10. So let me run this code now. So let us, for subject, let's create an array for subject as well. So subject equals to np dot array. Like I said, you need to know how to copy and paste while you are coding. So this is and good comment as well. Create 10 students array. And this is create 5 subjects array. So I said we are going to have maths, science, English, history, P. So let me run this. All right, no errors. Now, so let's try to generate some scores. We want to generate some numbers for those students. So how do we go about that? So let me write generate random scores between, I want it to be between 50 and 100. So I want the scores to be between 50 and 100. So that will be equal to score equal to np dot random dot round int, because I want it to be integer. So that will be 50, 101, comma 10, comma 5. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you. What's the error? Oh, yeah. This is supposed to be rounded. Yeah. So let's print the student scores. So print, I'm not sure that I've taught you this before. So if I want to like call this student scores, so this is how it goes. Put it in another line. This ln means, this slash n means another line. And so I want to print those scores. So let me print it now. No, score. I didn't call it. This is scores, so that's why it does not recognize it. Why is he giving error? Student scores. Okay, maybe I've not run this. Let me run these. Scores. He's saying scores is not defined. Scores is already defined. Yeah. So you can see it like this. Now let me now see one difference between if you want to print scores alone. You can see there is no student scores there. But because I want student scores to be up and I want it to be in another line, did you get it now? I want student scores to be up and I want it to be in another line. So this is how you go about it. So I've taught you another method on how to print now and print it another line. So if we want to print students, we can also do the same thing. So that will be print students students names, and let me copy the variable, which is students. So you can see that it has generated the numbers for me. Don't worry, I will still come to how. Now you can see student names and it generated, and we have the numbers down here. So let me print for student subjects. Student subjects. So we can see the subject here. Now, take a look at what I did here. The meaning of random here is that it should not be less than 50. it should be between 50 and 100. So you can see that there is no 101 there. So it should be between 50 and 100, which is the minimum and the maximum, which is the minimum and the maximum. And I don't want it, what 10 and 5 is doing here is that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is, the column should be 10 and the horizontal, the rows should be 5. That is what it's doing. So if I should change this to 5, 10, you will see that the column will be 10 and the rows will be 5. So let's do that. You can see what I'm saying now. Did you get it now? So this is for column and this is for the rows. So let me return it back to it. I just use that to explain. Let me return it back to, I just use it to explain. So did you understand it now? So you can use Numpy to generate numbers, to generate arrays, to generate fake data sets. And that's what I just displayed to you now. You can use Numpy to generate fake database, fake data sets. And that's what I just said now. Now, for example, these are the scores of the students. These are the scores of the students in a class. Let's assume that they want to upgrade. They want to upgrade probably possibly and add 5 marks to all the students. So how do we go about that? So let me add 5 bonus marks. Add 5 bonus marks to all the students. So that would be score plus equal to, so that would just be scores, which is the variable, plus 5, and it's going to add everything. Now, remember that we have 58 here before, 75, 51, 69, 77. So let's add it now and see what it's going to give us. So let me now print score plus. So if you look at it, it has already been added. So when you see that this is 75, 80, it has already been added. 5 has been added to all the scores. Let me reduce the column. Let me change it to 2, 3 so that it will be more visible how those things were added. Now you know we have 82, 85, 10 like that. 82, 80, 86, 82, 100. So I say scores plus 5. So let me print now. 86 plus 5 is what? 91. 82 plus 5 is what? 87. 100 plus 5, 105. 91 plus 5, 96. 93 plus 5, 98. 73 plus 5, 78. So these are some of the data manipulation that you can do with Numpy. So what if I want to subtract? If I want to subtract 3 from all the students, if I want to subtract 3 from all the students, so you have score minus equal to scores minus 3. So let me print score minus here. Note that is going to come here is the scores here that we did, not the scores plus. So note these numbers very well. So you can see 86 minus 3, 82 minus 3, 100 minus 3, 91 minus 3, 93 minus 3, 73 minus 3, and you can see it like that. Then again, you can convert all of this array to fraction. You can convert it to fraction. We're using Numpy. So let's convert scores to a fraction of 100. Let's convert it to a fraction of 100. So how do we go about that? So that would be score fraction equal to scores divided by 100. So what is the score fraction? So the score fraction, so you can see 86 will be 86 0.86, 0.82, 1 because it's 100 divided by 100. So let me see if we have any question before I move into array indexing and the likes. What do you mean by open? What do you mean by open source library? Yes, there are a lot of different open source library in Python. Pandas is part of it. If you have been attending this class, we have used Pandas. So it's just an open source library for Python. It's an open source library. What I mean by open source library, that is free. There are some library in Python that are not free. So that's why we call some open source library. But most of it are actually open source. Most of the Python libraries are actually open source. So why is it that when you close file and open it again, it doesn't run again? It will be giving error for a prompt. You have to run before closing file. Yes, as many brackets you open, you have to close it. It is very, very important. As many brackets that you open, you have to close it. So why is it that when you close file and open it again, it doesn't run? I've explained that. It usually says your prompt is not defined. Meanwhile, before you close, it runs same. I'm not sure I understand that question, but if I should get you right, what you are saying is that if I want to get you right, what you are saying is if I didn't close this bracket, it's not going to run. Obviously, when you open a bracket, you have to close that bracket. That's one of the first rule in programming. Any programming, either Python, either C++, either C#, as many brackets that is open, it has to be closed. As many brackets that is open has to be closed. You have to close as many brackets that is opened. It is very, very important. So, yeah, so let me move on. So, let's talk about, let's go into indexing. So if we want to go into indexing, now the reason why I used 10 before was because I have 10 students here. Was because I created 10 students here. So let me change it back to 10 and let's run it again. But I wanted to demonstrate it so that you will not be viewing and be checking and seeing that I'm not sure that they are adding together. So that was why I did that. So let's change it because, for example, if we want to know the score of Alice, we want to know the score of Charlie, we want to know the score of David and the likes, we need to use that. We need to use that column back. So +5, +5, -3, then divided by 10, score fraction, we have this. So for example, if we want to get the score So we want to get the score of the first column. So our first column here is Alice. Alice is our first column here. So if we want to get for the first student, which is Alice, if we want to get the score, how do we go about it? So that will be Alice scores equal to scores. Last week we discussed something about this, because this is going to give us the score of Alice. So these are all the scores of Alice up here. These are all the scores of Alice, the first one that is there. And if we want to get maybe the score for mathematics score alone, that is the mathematics score alone, remember that we have coded that it is the mathematics that is starting, which is 85. You remember that we have mathematics here, which is 85. So that means that this is mathematics score. So if we want to get just one, how do we go about it? So get all scores. Okay, if you want to get all the scores for mathematics, that is all the scores of mathematics of all the students, we want to get 85, 69, 89, 60, 80, 65, and the likes. So how do we go about that? So get all scores for maths, which is obviously column 0. So that would be math scores equal to scores. So we have a colon and we have a comma, then we have 0. So let me run it. So let me print the math scores now. So this is all the math scores alone. And when you look at here, you have, when you look at it in this place, we have 85, 69, 89, 60, 80, and the likes. So you can see it is here 85, 69, 89, 60, 80, and the likes. Now, for another thing we can do is, if we want to get, so we call this one, what I just did there is indexing. We call it indexing in Python. So if you want, another thing in Numpy that you need to note is slicing. So if you want to get, for example, if you want to get the scores for the first 5 students, so get the scores for the first 5 students. If you want to get the scores for the first 5 students, how do we go about that? So that will be first 5 students equal to scores because it's the first 5 students that we want to get. So a column will be here and we have 5. So let me print it out. There you go. So that is for the first 5 students. That's for the first 5 students. So if we want to get for the first 3, all you need to do is to change it to 3 here. And if we want to get, let's assume that we want to get the last 2 subjects for all the students. Last two subjects for all the students, or let's say the last three subjects for all the students. Last three subjects for all the students. Now, the last three subjects for all the students here will be 75, 52, and 68. So how do we go about that? And down like that. So how do we go about it? So let me call the variable last three subjects. So that will be equal to scores, a colon, we have this, then it will now be minus 3 that. So let's run it and let's print last three subjects. So this is the scores for the last three subjects for all the students. So now let's go into how you will really need NumPy. How do you really need NumPy? Because if you are doing statistics, if you are working in a place where they need numbers, you are going to need mean, you are going to need sum, you are going to need standard deviation, you are going to need median and the likes. So you can use NumPy to calculate all those things. You can use NumPy to calculate it. So for example, if you want to calculate the mean score, what is the mean score per subject of the student? So mean scores equal to np.mean, then scores. Now you have to include something which is axis equals to 0. Axis equals to 0. You have to include that. So let me print the mean score now. So this is all the mean score. That is, it will add all of these to all of the columns together and look for the mean score for each of those subjects. So axis equals to 0. If I remove this axis equals to 0, now look at the difference. Now you can see that it will calculate everything together. But to maintain the shape, the records, the rows, and the column, you have to put axis equals to 0, which is very, very important. Because somebody might ask, why did I put axis equals to 0? So you can see the difference now. So these are the mean score for all the subjects. These are the mean scores for all the subjects. Now, if I want to calculate the mean score for Alice alone, you know that I have already brought out Alice here. How do I do that? I will just copy Alice score here and say mean Alice mean score. If we want to know for Alice mean score alone, dot mean. We don't need to put axis because it is just one row. We want to know all the average score for everything that Alice had in all the subjects. So Alice mean score, let me print it out like that. So on the average is 69.6. So how is this useful? So you can code, this is useful when, if for example, if you are working in for example, if you are working in an organization where you deal with mean for some numbers, so you can code it such that when you have the data, you will just input the data and calculate the mean, and it will give you the mean using Numpy. So that's the usefulness of Numpy. So Numpy will help you to calculate the mean by itself. Like I said, it is majorly used for calculations. So the same way we used, so let me comment this. This is the mean score for Alice. So the same way we used to calculate mean, we can use the same thing to calculate standard deviation as well. Standard deviation score. Standard deviation score. And all you need to change here is just STD. You change this to STD, and let's change this to standard deviation score. So when I send you this code and you are running it, you can calculate the mean score for the rest. That is each of them. You can calculate it. So let me print the standard score now. So these are all the standard deviation scores of each of those subjects. And this is the mean for each of those subjects. So that shows that this is informing the stakeholders that 81.7, they performed better in which subject now? History than in the rest of all the subjects. So if we want to calculate the total scores will be the sum. The total scores will be the sum. Total score per student. So we have total scores equals to np.sum. So that will be scores axis equals to 0. So total scores. So that's the total score for each of the subjects. If you want to know the total score for Alice, the total score for Alice will be total score for Alice. So this one will change to Alice scores. Alice total scores. Then we have Alice scores. Okay, I didn't copy S. So this is the total score for Alice, 348. That's the total score that he had. Let me see if we have any question. It usually say your prompt is not defined. Yes, okay, I think, no, maybe you are not getting it. What happened? Let me explain to you what happened. That, like, it just happened again. Now, you said it usually says your prompt is not defined. Meanwhile, before you close, it ran the same. No, you are not getting it. Let me explain to you what happened. It just happened again now. What I did was, listen to me. You are getting it wrong. Now, when I ran this, it was Ali's total scores, but I copied Ali total score. You can, let me run it again now. You will say that it's not defined because scores is different from score. It has to be complete. There's nothing like Ali's total score. So that is why you are seeing, anytime you see is not defined, what it means is the variable, there's a mistake in the variable. Now I get your question. It's not because I close any brackets. When you see an error that says is not defined, What it means is that your variable was not defined. That is what it means. Your variable was not defined. That is what it means. That means you didn't define the variable perfectly. That is what it means. So you need to define, that's why copying and pasting, you can see Alice score is not defined. And that's true. There is nothing like Alice score. But if I give it the correct variable, it's going to run. So it's not because of brackets. When you see an error that says not defined, what it means, when you see an error that says not defined, what it means is that the variable was not defined. It's not because of the brackets. What it means is that the variable wasn't defined, not because of the brackets. Is there a way you can add to discuss and yet the highest will not exceed 100? For example, for addition, one score exceed 100. Yes, there's a way to do that, but I've not, okay, I've taught you conditional loop and the for loop. So that is where the conditional statement comes in, that no matter what, it should not exceed it. I think I taught it in the second class. So you have to create a for loop. Because of our time, I won't be able to create that. You have to create a for loop that says, go and look at that class in the second class, that says that it should not exceed this. So when it exceeds this, it should go back to the, it should be 100. It should not exceed 100. So why do we always use capital letter? Can't we use small letter? You can use small letter because the Anaconda that we are using, the Jupyter notebook that we are using, is not case sensitive for Python. It's not case sensitive. So it doesn't matter whether we use, but because naturally David is a noun and you want to put it in capital letter, so we can use small letter. It doesn't matter. Can we get the student names and their score under their names? Why did the last three subjects only print one row instead of three? The last three subjects, yes, it's not printing only. Look at it very well. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, it's not printing only one row. That is not what it's doing. What I did here is I printed, oh, let's go back to it. The last three, what I did here was to print this. So it's not printing just one row. It's not printing just one row. It's not just one row that it is printing. So take note of that very well. It's printing, I'm printing this row alone, 73, 56, 67, 74, 91. That is what I'm printing. So I'm printing just the third column alone, that I want the third column alone. I'm not printing the last three. Oh, sorry, I think it's my the third, sorry, I think it's the third subject. It was my English that was not right then, sorry. I want to print just the third subject alone. The third subject alone. So I'm printing just the third subject alone, and that is why this is -3. I've taught you if you want to print the last three, it's not going to be just this. That is where was last week when I said it's going to be 3 to that. That is why I taught you something like this last week, if you can still remember. And that will give you the column for 3 and 5, between 3 to 5. So what I wanted to say here was just to print the third subject alone. If I want to print the fourth subject alone, that will be -4. I have taught you this last week, how to combine, how to segment rows, how to segment columns together. So I was not repeating that. Sorry about that. Is it possible to use as many libraries as possible in our code? Yes. Most of the time, some of the questions that I'm going to give you, when I give you, I'm going to give you a project to do, The project I'm going to give you to do is going to involve you importing different libraries, and pandas is inclusive, numpy is inclusive. Next week we are going to talk about matplot library, and so we are going to be drawing different things in Python next week. We are going to be making you drawing different visualizations in Python next week, and so it's very so when I give you work to do, when I give you the project to do, obviously you will make use of pandas, you make use of numpy because of the project I want to give you. You also make use of matplots. And upper week, I'm going to teach you Seaborn. That is in 2 weeks' time. I will teach you Seaborn library. So you are going to make use of those 4. And I'm still going to also teach you something on date time. So you are going to import date time. So you are sometimes when you are working, you will import different libraries together. I meant when you work on a program that ran well and you shut down your laptop, when you open again, it doesn't run again. It will say, oh, now I understand you. See, when you shut down your system, and you want to run a program again, you have to start from the beginning. Don't, when I shut down this system now and I save this, don't come and start from this place. Don't come and start, oh, print, and say print. No, you have to run the code from the beginning again because the system has not saved it. It is from the beginning. You have to run it cell by cell as if you are starting again. Because when it's telling you that it is not divine, what it means is that you have not run the first cell, and that is why you are getting that error. You have not run the first cell. That is why you are getting the error. You have not run the first cell. That is why you are getting the error. Can we print the surname, subject, and scores together? Yes. The first class, I taught you dictionary. I taught you dictionary in the first class. Because of our time, I'm not going to do it for you. Go and do it yourself. If you understand go and watch the YouTube video on dictionary again. And I taught you on how you can put those things together. I taught you on dictionary. It is dictionary that is going to be used, and I've taught you dictionary. So that's why I taught you dictionary first. So I'm not going to repeat that in this class again. So go and look at my first YouTube video. Go and watch it. Then you should be able to put it together yourself. That's not the main mind of this class. So, do we have any other question? All right. So now let me quickly, before I do a roundup. Now, for example, again, if you want to generate a sequence of numbers, I just remembered this now. If you want to generate sequence of numbers, like if you want to generate sequence of numbers from 0 to 100 with a step of 5, that is, you want everything to be, what I mean by 5 is you want 5, 10, 15, blah, 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 like that. How do you go about it? So you can also make use of numpy. So that is where numpy comes in. You have np.arrange. So like I said, what is used in those games is, you can only have 0 to 6 when you are playing Ludo on your phone. So they make use of numpy. So what is used there is 0, 7, 1. That was what was used to produce the Ludo game on your phone. So when you are playing Ludo game on your phone, for those of you that have Ludo game, when you try to roll that number, it's not going to pass this. But this is not where I'm going, because I said from 0 to 100. So this will be 101, and this is going to be 5. This will be 101 and 5. np.arrange. Okay, I think there's a problem with my lettering. Yeah, it is not double R, it is one single R. So sequence, let me print the sequence now. So you can see 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 till we get to 100. Now, if I put this to 100, let's see, you will see that it will not include the 100. You can see. So if I want it to include the 100, I have to do it this way. I have to increase it by 1 so that because I want it to include the 100. So in the absence of no question, let me quickly run through what I've taught you in this class. So I said numerical Python. Now, some of the basic things that I'm teaching you, you will not know the application. Now, like somebody asked now, that can we put the name on top of this? That was why I taught you dictionary. That's the application of it. And that was why I said, go and watch my first video on dictionary, then you will be able to put it together. You will be able to put Alice on the column and Matthew and math science on top. Math, science, English, history, PE on top like that. So that was why I taught you dictionary at first. You will be able to do that. It's very easy to do because you already have everything like that. So you just set your dictionary and you'll be able to do it. So, and I said, if you don't have Numpy on your system, just say pip install Numpy, then create a random seed. Then we created an array of those students, created most of the fake data set that I used in this class and some other classes. I use Numpy to create it. Then create the array. We printed the student's course, the student name, and I did some manipulation, fraction, addition, and stuff like that. And the first 5 students, this is the first 5 students. And this is if you want only the third subject alone, then we have the mean score. Then this is the mean score for Alice, the standard deviation, the total score, we use the sum. And I said, if you want to make use of sequence, can we do Fibonacci, sir? Where previous number is added to produce a new number. Yes, we can do Fibonacci, but our time is fast spent. But you can try it on your own. And if you are having issues, all you need to know is how does Fibonacci works, and then you can just use this syntax. How does Fibonacci sequence work? How does the sequence work? Please, how do we compile this data in form of that? How do you save it in form of Excel? Now, some of these questions you're asking me, it shows that you did not you didn't follow up with my first class. Because in my first class, go and watch the first YouTube video again. I'm sorry that I'm referring to it. I taught you how to put things in data frame. In my first class, I gave you some little data and put it in data frame. Go and watch the video. That's why I make the YouTube videos. Go and watch the video. So to put this in Excel, the first thing you will do is to put it in data frame. And when you put it in data frame, then you save it in .xlx, period. Go and watch that first video. I did like a small data set and I put it in data frame. Please, I want you to be like, I understand that we are asking those questions. So that is where the application of those things that I've taught you before comes in. That's where the application of those things that I've taught you before comes in. So to put this now, I want you to try it at home. Go and watch that first video on dictionary, on data frame. I think it's the first video or second video that I taught data frame. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure that I taught dictionary lists on the first day in Python, because you need to understand those basics. And that was why I taught it. It is recorded. Check the WhatsApp group. the first video, go and check the WhatsApp group, the first video, and you will see that first video there. Watch it again and you can put it in Excel. But it has to first of all be in data frame. Then after data frame, then you put it in Excel. So with that, we come to the end of this class. So majorly, practice makes perfection. Don't forget all the things I taught you in the past 3 weeks. This is the 4th week. So if you don't practice them, because I'm building on those things that I've taught you previously, so if you don't practice them, that is where all these questions are arising from. If you don't practice them, it's going to give you issues. It's when you practice them that you will not have any issue. So thank you very much. I will see you next week. And like I said, we are going to be using another library next week, which is Matplot library. And it's majorly, we are going to be doing a lot of visualizations next week, bar charts, pie charts, different visualizations of data next week. And I will explain how it works as well. So I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. And bye for now.